Gentlemen, if you were told to do Kegels for your pelvic pain, but instead you got tighter, more sore, and more uncomfortable, this video is for you. Today, I'm going to explain why Kegels can backfire in men with chronic pelvic pain, what's actually going on with your pelvic floor, and how to use what's called the reverse Kegel to calm and relax the nervous system. Chronic pelvic pain isn't just a weak muscle problem, and that's where most men misunderstand. For many men, it's a pattern where the pelvic floor stays tight and guarded all day, and the nervous system becomes overly sensitive. And this matters the most for what you should do next. The muscles around the base of the penis, the anus, and the perineum can sit at a low-level clench all day long, like a fist that never fully relaxes. And once that happens, the brain treats the pelvic floor area as a threat. So even small amounts of tension can create a big pain flare. Now, let's talk about Kegels, because this is where things go sideways for a lot of men. A traditional Kegel is the contraction of the pelvic floor, like when you're gently stopping the flow of urine. And on paper, this sounds like the right solution. But here's the question you need to ask yourself. What if the problem isn't weakness at all? If the pelvic floor is already tight and overactive, that's like telling that squeezed fist to clench even harder. And when that happens, the nervous system, of course, doesn't relax, it just grips harder. That's why some men notice more pelvic pain, more urine leakage, and more difficulties relaxing after starting Kegels. And so if that's happening to you, it's not a coincidence. And so if more squeezing makes things worse, you might be asking, what's the alternative? The answer isn't just thinking you're gonna have this for the rest of your life and I'm just not gonna do anything about it. Instead, I want you to try what's called the reverse Kegel. A reverse Kegel isn't just telling your brain to relax the pelvic floor. It's an intentional, controlled lengthening of the muscles around the sit bones of the pelvic floor. And that distinction is important, because just telling yourself to relax often doesn't work when the nervous system is so ramped up. A reverse Kegel teaches the pelvic floor to let go with purpose. So let's demonstrate how to do this correctly. Start in a comfortable position, lying on your back or sitting slightly reclined. First, do a very small Kegel, just enough to locate the muscles. Now here's the key part most men miss. As you contract your pelvic floor, we want to feel it letting go. Just like you feel that pelvic floor contraction, we need to be able to experience the feeling of that pelvic floor letting go. That letting go sensation is equally important. As you take a deep inhale breath into your belly, imagine the pelvic floor gently spreading and dropping with the inhale. At this point, I don't want you to think about contracting your pelvic floor, just get that familiar sensation where you're letting go with the pelvic floor. Remember, not to squeeze, I don't want you to contract. This is what actually retrains the nervous system, not force and not strenuous effort. If you feel pressure, heaviness, or pain, you're doing too much. Start with just 3 to 5 slow breaths, and then stop. Your response over the next few hours tells you more than how it feels in the moment. For many men with chronic pelvic pain, the first phase of rehab isn't just strengthening exercises, it's learning how to let go and relax. Once that's in place, that's when the strengthening starts to work, because now the muscles can recognize when it's time to turn on and turn off. So if Kegels have been making your symptoms worse, try to replace them with those reverse Kegels. Incorporate a few stretches, some mindful practices, some breathing techniques, then go back to strengthening, and then you should notice a change in your symptoms. If this video helped you, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so we can keep showing this content to more men who might need to see it. Thanks for watching.